Hello and good evening. Well, what a happy moment. Let me get Ranga straight away so that we can start talking about what this World Cup was all about. And my God, my heart is still beating very, very fast. Here comes Ranga. Let's not waste any time. Come, Ranga, come.
Yes,
My God, cheers, man. Oof.
a mug doesn't help, only a tankard will help. And I pulled this one out. It's a silver coated glass bottomed tankard. And this is a 1983 model.
Wow. Wow.
Vintage stuff and 83. So, a real coincidence. The
Well,
only thing is,
Ranga, you know, you mentioned about the grave and the brave somewhere on your post. We were, we were all in the grave. We were in the grave. I don't know. It was, yeah, I mean, it rhymes very well. We were in the grave, and then it needed a brave.
fortune favors
a,
the brave.
a brave
Fortune
move, I would say.
favors.
I swear, with 30 balls, 30 runs, I thought it was all over. I thought it was all. The only thing I kept saying was choke, 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 and they choked. But I
When,
swear, I swear. I mean, I,
when
I
you,
know.
when you chase a wide delivery, you're in form, you're getting runs. Runs are coming at a decent clip. You don't have to rush it anymore. It's just a run a ball. And that's the time when you chase and a wider delivery, going further wider away, you pay the penalty for it. Without taking any credit away from Surya Kumar Yadav for that absolute brilliant catch of the tournament, I
Stunning,
would still
stunning.
say that the turning point was Klaasen's wicket.
Absolutely,
All
absolutely.
right, there are a lot of things we can talk about. But tell me, I just heard you as I logged in that your heart is still beating very fast. My my heart was in my mouth, and the spirit has already gone down south. I was
You
actually
know,
nodding off to sleep.
I was at a friend's place. I'd gone there to watch this match, and over a period of the match, I saw him getting grimmer and grimmer on his face. And I told him, I said, next time, I'm sure you're thinking that next time I'm not going to invite anybody for a cricket match to my house because all those 10 people who are sitting there had views on what is happening, why it is happening, what has gone wrong, what could have been better. And, we continued and continued and continued. And finally, I mean, I couldn't sit. I couldn't sit. I had to get up. I had to get up. I was pacing around. I was impatient, and especially, after that catch that he took, Surya took, I think it was like, वो एक माता आ जाती है ना अंदर सबके, तो वो माता आ गई थी इंडिया वालों में तो for sure. And it was 100% teamwork. Everybody contributed to it. Everybody. We guys have been very, very critical of one guy. Okay, Miss Dubé ji
But
ने डुबाया. But
but, but
he has played a very critical role
no, no,
yesterday.
no. Remember yesterday evening, Jitu, at 4 o'clock when we were talking, the only two things I think I said was if Kohli gets 70 plus, and if Dubé gets around
Yes,
40 in about 20 balls,
yes,
you know, divine will, as they call it, and also this catch, which turned the entire body language. Otherwise, even the fielders, it was clearly visible. Kohli's exasperation showed at least on 3 occasions. Rohit Sharma's body was flagging.
yes.
And well, it was divine intervention, as they say. God helps those who help themselves, and this really worked.
So,
But yes,
cricket,
teamwork,
Ranga,
no single guy.
Cricket has changed. Okay, the way cricket is played has changed over years. Okay, I've been following cricket for the last 45 odd years, or maybe more. One thing, which my first coach told me, and one thing which stays to date, is that catches win matches. Okay, so it was that Akshar Patel catch against
Yeah,
Australia. It was the Surya Kumar Yadav catch against South Africa, which
absolutely.
actually took. You must have seen that meme, which is floating around, where instead of the ball they put the cup in the hand of Surya Kumar Yadav, saying Surya Kumar taking away the cup, not taking away the catch.
Yeah. Years back, Steve Waugh said that to Herschel Gibbs, didn't he? That son,
Yes,
you dropped the world.
yes,
And when Gibbs dropped Waugh, and a guy like Waugh will never give up after that. He'll never give another chance. And then the Indians didn't give another chance to them. But can you believe the last 5 overs? When you look at the number of runs conceded in the last 5 overs each, that was wonderful. After years, or probably for the first time, bowlers winning a tournament, bowlers winning the finals. And for India's sake, from India's perspective, Bumrah,
oh
the
yes, oh
ball
yes,
that bounced, caved in, and took Jansen's wicket.
wicket,
The guy was
yeah,
stunned.
yeah. And in fact, the commentator
So,
mentioned exactly at that moment, that I am expecting a Yorker or a Yorker length
yes,
delivery from
yes,
Bumrah. But it was not
correct.
a Yorker
It
length.
was
It was more like an leg cutter that came
absolute. Cut
and
back very sharply
oh yes,
and
yes,
left
yes,
him stunned. And I think this is
absolutely.
where the maturity of a man who's been going from strength to strength, match after match, is very young still, but he has learned very quickly. To
Yes,
the extent that somebody like Mohammad Siraj idolizes him and mentioned this also in a very, very emotional moment that when he was delighted, though he was not in the 11, it was for him like winning the tournament himself because he saw Jasprit do it.
absolutely,
So many moments,
absolutely.
and like everybody, if Surya Kumar Yadav didn't get runs, for which I was very cross with him in the afternoon. I mean, in the first part, in the first inning, the innings that India played, he made up and much more for it with that catch.
Absolutely,
Pant
absolutely.
got out without scoring, but Pant did excellent keeping and throughout the tournament. I mean, for a guy to have come back after such a serious accident, recovering, rehabilitating, and a very different man, a far more serious and a far more focused man. He's also become very empathetic. Also, he's not only very selfish, perhaps one of the first earliest Indian cricketers to go and console the South Africans when they were down and beaten. And he went and had a word with some of them. At the end of the day, it's about sporting spirit. And there, I find the South Africans way better than the
Yes,
English or the Australian
yes,
cricketers.
yes,
They're
yes.
far more sporting. They know how to take things in their stride. But sadly for them, it was not their day. Otherwise, this would have been. See, one thing, for the first time, I think, in the history of the tournament, two teams were competing. None of them had a record. None of them had been beaten in the tournament even once, number one. Number two, we were likely to have a new winner, someone who had never made it to the finals also. So, anyways, it was going to be, but after a very, very long time, a nail biting finish, practically till the last over, till the second last. I breathed better only after the fifth ball of the last over was over. And even then, I had only one little feel that Pandya should not bowl another wide. He had already
Wide,
bowled one wide in that over. But
absolutely.
by then, of course, Rabada was the वो जैसे सिद्धू ने 2-3 बार बोला हुआ है कि Rabada अब करेगा कबाड़ा. He has the ability to hit the ball on the outside. Lefty है, natural swing के साथ मार सकता है. But that's where he went wrong, and I guess that was the final seal. And then after that, they didn't have the spirit also to be able to
It
do anything. So
was
what looked
also
like a very good game, suddenly 7 रन का जो फर्क पड़ता है ना, वो भी बहुत बड़ा दिखाई देता है.
absolutely. We were somewhere we started thinking about a super over also. You know,
Again,
it
Jitu,
could
like
be, yeah.
yesterday, कल के हिस्ट्री को रिपीट करते हुए, कल भी कुछ लेडीज हमारे प्रोग्राम में बैठी थी, आज भी हैं, एंड आई कैनॉट हेल्प बट रेजिंग अ सल्यूट टू द इंडियन women's cricket team for their phenomenal performance, a century by one, a double century by the other, and what a record bowling performance by Sneh Rana.
Absolutely.
The
8
women are
wickets.
the women have evolved. The Indian women's team is right on top, and I'm sure they're going to do things in a shorter span of time than the men have done. That's
They're
really
anyway,
heartening, and I'm
they
very glad.
they are anyway playing test cricket like T20. So
Yes, तो वो एटीट्यूड के साथ वो एकदम अग्रेसिव, जीतने की तमन्ना है, जीतने की चाह है, तो कई बार आपको कोई रोक नहीं सकता है. तो गाइस, दैट्स समथिंग फॉर with the kind of coolness. And what a moment, I think, when you look at it this way, poetic justice for a lot of players, poetic justice for the coach, who as a player never was a member of a World Cup winning team. Perfectly deserved. And he was in the reserves, he was standing behind. He was letting everybody celebrate, but the boys would not have any of it. Virat went and handed over the trophy to him. They gave him a lot of bumps, and Rahul Dravid probably couldn't have got a better farewell.
absolutely,
As a coach, and as a coach, he's been outstanding. The team
absolutely,
is very disciplined, Gitu. Earlier also, the teams have been brilliant, but there was always this little feeling that some cricketers are not disciplined enough. But I don't think they anymore associate with that kind of a feeling. They are a very, very disciplined lot. They are a very fit lot. They know what they're doing. There's tremendous chemistry. The other thing that was disproved, media, the trolls on Twitter and Instagram and all, who think it's so bad. I only have one. You have played cricket. I have played cricket. You just need to stand in the middle for one over. Rahul Dravid, मेरे ख्याल से जब भी बैटिंग करने के लिए आता था, 2 किलो तो पसीने से ही बहा दिया करता था मेरे ख्याल से. कितना मुश्किल होता है. And with all that
absolutely.
noise, the kind of मेरे यहाँ पांडिचेरी में कल ह्यूमिडिटी 64 थी, एंड कल बारबेडोस में ह्यूमिडिटी 84. So can you imagine how draining it would have been for them? But पूरे टूर्नामेंट को अगर आप देखो, very interesting journey, isn't it?
Oh
For
yes,
a lot of teams.
absolutely, 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 absolutely. And I want to confess once again here that I was one guy who did not give this Indian team a chance. I said with the kind of selection that they've done, I don't give them a chance. And they proved me wrong completely, completely. And hats off. I must mention here, though everybody's been saying that, I think hats off to the way Rohit Sharma has captained. Even yesterday during the match, taking those calls in terms of bowling out Bumrah, your mainstay spearhead bowler, bowling him out before the 20th over. I think it was a must move. It was a must. Yes, he didn't have a choice and he was taking a chance, but I think it was the
That is
right move.
true.
It was absolutely the right move.
Calculated. Actually, इसके लिए रोहित शर्मा के लिए एक एक्स्ट्रा टोस्ट.
Yes.
Captains don't necessarily have to be the most aggressive. They don't necessarily have to lead from the front only. At times, वही वाली बात है ना. Sometimes you lead from the front. Sometimes you push from behind. Sometimes you are within, and sometimes you are not visible.
Not
Also, a
yes.
captain can be the invisible. Even while taking calls in terms of DRS की जरूरत है. चलो आगे बढ़ो.
Yeah.
The way he was signaling, and probably the keeper thought, but the bowler wasn't so sure. Sharma would not waste time और हर बात पे going upstairs, which psychologically, Jitu, my son was pointing this out pretty up. हर छोटी चीज के लिए ऊपर जाओगे तो वक्त तो जाता ही है, वो जो कंटिन्यूटी होती है, वो जो फोकस होता है, उस पर भी असर होता है. I guess that psychological game also. Just carry on with the game, keep the momentum going. You also have to keep an eye on things like your bowling rate. I don't know whether that matters in the finals, but all said and done, a smooth continuity. And again, what great divine will. बरसात के बारे में सब
I
लोग डरे
swear.
हुए थे. एक
And
बूंद गिरा नहीं, लेकिन मैच के जीतने के बाद, अवार्ड सेरेमनी के बाद, बरसो रे मेघा मेघा, बरसो रे मेघा मेघा, क्या बात, जोरदार,
or
अच्छी खासी बरसात हुई.
incidentally, I was just checking the weather. एक बहुत ही strong hurricane is going to hit Trinidad Tobago. Okay, very soon in the next 1 or 2
Yes,
days. So just
correct.
imagine the timing here. I mean, it didn't rain during the match. It started raining the minute the match got over. In fact, in the last over, it started raining in the last over itself. Okay, and after that, it's been rains all along. But yes, I think it is a blessing again, divine blessing, which is coming to the Indian team in terms of rain.
नहीं नहीं, ट्रू. बट अगर आपने बरसात नहीं देखी तो मैंने तो विराट कोहली के बैट से 50 पूरे करने के बाद, जब जितने लोगों ने बोला कि कोहली सेल्फिश है, अपने लिए खेलता है, स्लोली खेल रहा है, डिड यू सी द वे ही चेंज गियर्स आफ्टर ही गॉट हिज 50 फ्रॉम 50 to 76? The speed at which he did, the authority with which, that was the rainfall. It was not in Trinidad, it was at the Kensington Oval, Bridgetown, Barbados.
यार
And I think,
एक एक बात बताओ, ये डॉक्टर बख्शी संजय मंजरेकर के रिश्तेदार है क्या?
हाँ, क्योंकि वो हमेशा जल्दी ढूंढ रहे हैं बख्शी जी. अभी तो मैच हमारी जेब में है, कप हमारे हाथ में है, 2 वाइड बॉल के लिए क्या पूछ रहे हैं आप, समझा नहीं है क्वेश्चन क्या है. लेट मी स्क्रॉल. बट 2 वाइड बॉल्स नीड टू बी आस्क्ड एज इट वाज क्रूशियल. अभी तो क्या है, रेट्रो इफेक्ट तो हो नहीं सकता. बख्शी जी वो दिन गए जब आप रिवाइंड करते थे. अभी तो मेरे ख्याल से फास्ट फॉरवर्ड का जमाना है. मेरे जैसा 68 साल का आदमी अगर ये बोल रहा है, यू आर अ यंग एक्टिव डायनामिक प्रोफेसर ऑफ मार्केटिंग हु ओनली लुक्स फॉरवर्ड, कौन से 2 वाइड बॉल, मुझे तो याद भी नहीं. मोर देन दैट, आप मुझे बताइए, हु वॉज योर फेवरेट प्लेयर ऑफ द टूर्नामेंट? बख्शी जी, आज मेरी बारी है, आज मैं आपको सवाल पूछूंगा. हु अकॉर्डिंग टू यू was the man of the tournament?
अभी आएगा, धीरे से आएगा.
Now, वो ठीक है, answer आएगा. But in the meanwhile, I think what we probably would also have noticed was that the grace with which the players, all of them, whether they played, they were in the 11, or they were not in the 11 in the last few games, or they did not play a single game at all. The grace and the team spirit with which they ran onto the ground. When I saw Siraj, of course, was absolutely in top form. But even Jaiswal, I mean, for Jaiswal, he doesn't even have to really worry. It must have been a great learning experience for him, because when you travel with such senior cricketers, such accomplished players, even from your roommate, even while on the ground, even if you're carrying drinks, there is so much to watch. There is so much to learn
And
from.
there was
Sanjay
beyond that.
Samson should take heart.
There was Rinku Singh dancing. He was in the reserve. He was
Yes,
not even in the 15.
absolutely. And what really made me surprised and what really gladdened my heart was finally Rahul Dravid dancing
Oh
with the
yes,
players
yeah.
after the trophy had
You
been
know
collected.
the way he came and sat down on the ground in the midst of everyone. I've never seen him behave like that. But yeah, it was the peak. It was the peak and the pinnacle, I would say, of his his entire career,
and
including as a cricketer as well as a coach. So
and did you see Mayanti Langa making her father-in-law dance?
yes.
Great! It's a real watershed moment. Taken such a long time to get a tournament back, cup back in your hands. There is a nice Mallu joke that every time there has been a Mallu in the team, whether he played or not, the team, where starting with Sunil Walson in 1983, with Srishant twice, and with Sanju Samson, I was almost tempted to say, did the guy play? No, but then that is what matters.
So
Sometimes
there is
the
there is
presence of
this
a person.
there is a school friend of mine, Dr. Shekhar Warrior, and he also shared the same thing about the Mallus being in the team when India won. And he said also note that all the names start with S. So and he himself is Shekhar. So so yes, all the three names which were mentioned were starting with S.
नहीं, मैं ये समझता हूँ कि कभी कभी 11 लोग तो अपना रोल निभाते ही हैं. There are so many people watching, and during a break or something like that, some message, some observation from across. I always feel sometimes that forward short leg does not give you the perception or the view or the perspective which a deep third man or a deep fine leg gives you, because you can see the ground in all its entirety and you can watch what is happening from a slightly detached kind of a point of view. But
So
अच्छी बात यह है
so there was
कि बहुत
uh,
आराम से जीते.
there was this coverage being done by Carlos Bretwith, where he was talking about the position of the fielders from where there could be a better perspective. He was doing that yesterday, in fact.
Yes,
So
yes.
uh, you're absolutely right, and that is probably one of the reasons why you had the captain Rohit Sharma fielding on the boundary line at times. Okay, which was even in a crucial match like yesterday, which was the finals. Okay, you had him at certain times when he was fielding on the boundary. So maybe he's
Yes.
wanting to understand things that way. So we never know. But well played, and due to two of the greatest Indian batsmen of the present times from T20 cricket. And I think there's going to be a lot of excitement with all fresh blood coming in. I'm sure Hardik is going to take over as the captain for the T20 team. And with this fresh team which is going to Zimbabwe, there are going to be some more हीरे निकल के आएंगे उसमें से भी.
I had a
तो
I had a very close look क्योंकि ये टूर्नामेंट खत्म हो गया. कल रात के बाद मैंने चलो ये एनालिसिस ये सब ठीक है तभी कर रहे हैं. I was looking at the list to Zimbabwe and I could not find a single wrong inclusion. I did not even find a single wrong exclusion. जिनको नहीं होना था टीम में वो नहीं है, जिनको होना चाहिए था वो है. There is adequate support in case a wicket keeper gets injured or something like that. There are enough. The bowling department is very strong. The batting department is phenomenally strong.
phenomenal.
I'm happy
Yeah.
to see two or three guys who must have narrowly missed out on this tournament also. Rituraj Gaikwad, Abhishek, for instance, Avesh Khan, who I think will soon, step into the shoes of a Siraj, if not a Bumrah. And what is very interesting is very young team.
Yes.
Because a lot of people, we are surprised that Kohli and Sharma announced their retirement. I think it was well timed.
It is well timed.
Sunil Gavaskar
Absolutely.
once famously said, "It's good to leave when people ask why rather
And
than
not
why
why
not."
not.
Yes. And therefore, the timing is perfect. And Kohli mentioned it very clearly also to Harsha Bhogle. Time to hand over to youngsters. And there are youngsters not just knocking on the door, they are ready to break down the door.
Absolutely.
Easily, three or four of them could have, like Rinku is very much there, and all level headed guys. The previous IPLs, they may have shown only Josh, but they've shown Hosh in the last version of the. And with the Jitesh, who I believe also keeps wickets
Oh yeah, he's a wicket
pretty
keeper.
well.
Yeah.
So there are enough players in the opening slot should a combination not work out. For every Rituraj, for every Shubman, there is a Jaiswal, there are other people. And no, I think this is the way forward. And grooming them for bigger things for the future. 2 years down the line, they have to play as a reigning champions. They have a trophy to protect. And that's the time when these players would have been a tried and tested lot. They would have had experience. And also, of dealing with wickets at different. Unfortunately, we are playing at home. The next World Cup is in India and Sri Lanka. I'm sure Sri Lanka also must be gearing up. All the teams that have missed out, left early in the early stages of the game, must now be already doing their homework, and it's good. So when does the Zimbabwe? I think it's very,
Sixth,
very soon.
sixth. The first match is on the 6th
Uh-huh.
of July, in a week's time.
Right, right. In a week's time. So Bakshi ji is talking about the retirement of Steve Waugh when Virat has declared. Right, absolutely. Waugh had a fair amount of cricket in him, left in him when he quit. But you see, that's the difference in cricket abroad, especially in Australia. I am not so sure about the English. They also love to play long, and many of them cross the age limit. Of course, the greatest exception in the world, was Jimmy Anderson, who just went on and on and on. But ऐसे लोग बहुत कम पैदा होते हैं ना बख्शी जी. So सही बात है, सही टाइमिंग है. No, ऐसा इसका मतलब क्या है कि कोहली would like to focus on the formats that require a lot more energy, a lot more resilience, and a lot more thinking. जब आपको फुर्सत से सोचने के लिए वक्त मिलता है गेम में, तब ज्यादा कॉम्प्लिकेशंस भी आते हैं, तो ज्यादा सोचना पड़ता है, अच्छे से सोचना पड़ता है. T20 में एवरीथिंग इज लाइक लाइटनिंग, दिस यू नो रियल टाइम. जिस तरह डेसिबल वॉल्यूम भी दिखाते हैं, उसी तरह स्पीड भी गेंद की सेम वे गेम के सोचने, गेम के बारे में जो सोचते हैं. आई थिंक let the men focus, let Kohli and Sharma focus on creating those kind of records for the youngsters to break. Sachin Tendulkar created a benchmark. Kohli will definitely leave at a notch better, higher, more quality oriented. And that's how it should be. That is the way of things. People have to make way for others. And तभी तो जाके हर चीज में इम्प्रूवमेंट आती है ना. कंपनियां बड़ी होती हैं, नई कंपनियां आके उनसे बड़ी होती हैं, लोग आते हैं, खिलाड़ी लोग आते हैं.
So Ranga,
So
I think Ranga, this tournament has given enough and more content for you to work on for your training programs.
Too many people have already given management lesson. मेरे पास तो एक ही management lesson.
मैं भी दे रहा हूँ.
वही. और मैंने नहीं, उसी से वो डायग्राम देखकर मैं घबरा गया. लेकिन मैंने एक ही चीज कहा, even if you have 0.03% chance, why give up?
Absolutely.
Because
that's the message.
We must remember one thing. ये तो हमारा माइंडसेट है, सामने वाले का क्या है किसे मालूम. हो सकता है वो रिलैक्स हो जाए, हो सकता है उसको लगता है कि हमने तो जीत लिया. The winner is always under more pressure. The number 2, the number 3. Often when I'm doing training, Jitu, it's not always that leaders call me to do training programs. The number 1 company doesn't. The number 3, number 4 company calls me. And the first thing I tell them is, relax, we have nothing to lose. We have everything to win because we are nowhere. So हम कुछ भी मेहनत करेंगे वो दिखाई देगा. चुपचाप करना चाहिए. चींटी हाथी के कान पर बैठकर विक्ट्री लाइन के पास आके जंप मारकर रस्सी पार कर जाए, बहुत है. वो जो कर रहा है उसे देखो, फिर अपना करो. बट मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंटली आपके पास पूरी दुनिया है जीतने के लिए. तो अब की बार इंडियन टीम विल बी अंडर ए डिफरेंट काइंड ऑफ प्रेशर. तो इसीलिए मैनेजमेंट लेसन मेरे लिए यही है. आखिरी गेंद, they say no, the game is not over until the last ball has been bowled. No, the game is not over until the last ball has been bowled, played, and then gone dead. Because only then, because yesterday also, had the last ball been bowled and someone had kind of mishit it, and then there was a misfielding, and then there was an overthrow, and then there was, imagine, Akshar was actually run out, but he was nursing a hope that there might be 5 runs in that shot.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, Jitu, isn't it 5 runs that can get you victory or lose you the game?
Absolutely.
Every run matters, every ball matters, and the management lesson. बहुत सारे लोगों ने बहुत सारी चीजें लिख दी हैं मैनेजमेंट. अभी तो शिव कुमार का भी आएगा. लेकिन मैं तो एक ही चीज जानता हूँ, आखिरी गेंद तक आप वो जैसे सेल्स में और शादी में जो इक्वल वो कंपैरिजन करते हैं ना, मैं कहता हूँ एंगेजमेंट हो गया तो क्या है, शादी तो नहीं हुई है ना, यू स्टिल हैव अ चांस। लेकिन अगर फेरे ले चुके हैं तो जिस गली में तेरा घर ना हो बालमा, उस गली से हमें तो गुजरना नहीं। बट अदरवाइज वो चाहे श्रीलंका हो फाइनल्स में या बांग्लादेश हो, डोंट गिव अप
तो तो
टिल द लास्ट।
अपने को एबीसी को सिखाया था ना, दैट द ऑर्डर इज नॉट लॉस्ट अनलेस द पेमेंट इज इन द बैंक ऑफ द कॉम्पिटिटर।
Machine is installed, payment is in, and got credited. How many times, Jitu, have we got a distant toll or a non-delivery of a method X or some the forest department copier came to us because they couldn't supply and we
High
could,
court, high
and we
court,
put a demo machine.
even the high
Right?
court.
Absolutely. Even the High Court. There was Gujarat Narmada Auto Limited in Gujarat Vyapari Mahamandal in Odhav area, industrial area of Ahmedabad. Because Vinolta could not be supplied by Method X because they had a strike in their Pritampur plant, and we got a newspaper cutting to show that. And we gave it to them and said, it's not that we are desperate about the order, sir. You will not get the machine. तो engagement हो गया है, लेकिन fiance hostile निकला और आप heroic हो, you still have a chance. So अब कुछ भी हो जाए, वो super over क्यों ना हो जाए, whatever it may be. For a minute, that thought also crossed my mind yesterday when the last over, because normally theoretically जीतू 12 से 15 रन लास्ट ओवर में कोई बहुत बड़ी बात होती है।
डुएबल है, हाँ बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
15 प्लस देयर इज एन एलिमेंट ऑफ डाउट, 20 प्लस वेरी रिस्की, 30 प्लस भूल जाओ। लेकिन 30 आउट ऑफ 30 से 7 रन से हारना, ये टूर्नामेंट, ये कप सिर्फ इंडिया के गेंदबाजों को भी पकड़ा दोगे तो भी आपने कुछ गलत काम नहीं किया।
तो
तो
to sum it up in your style, रंगा के दुल्हन को ले भागे इंडियंस।
नहीं वो क्या है, अभी जीले अपनी जिंदगी, बीसीसीआई बोलता है या आईसीसी बोलता है या जय शाह बोलता है, on a very light note, I don't want to be cruel, but जितने कम पॉलिटिशियंस मैदान में हो उतना जीतना आसान होता है, शायद वो भी प्रूव हो गया है। I mean, I'm not trying to be cruel to anybody. ये गेम स्पोर्ट्समैनों का है, स्पोर्ट्समैनों तक सीमित रहे, अखबार वाले भी थोड़े कम बोले और आर्म चेयर क्रिटिक्स भी थोड़े कम बोले तो अच्छा, क्योंकि मैदान में उतर कर एक गेंद डालना या एक बॉल खेलना ही बहुत बड़ी बात है। एंड मैं जानता हूँ शिवम दुबे जैसे लोग बहुत कुछ सीख के आए होंगे इस टूर्नामेंट से, and I wish all of them very well, and our best wishes to the Indian team going to Zimbabwe, and our best wishes to the Indian women's team for going from strength to strength and like to summit. Wonderful. So we have the cup. That cheers, and
yes,
cheers to all.
Cheers to India.
Let us
cheers
celebrate.
to India, and cheers to everyone who supported, and cheers to all those who joined us on Cricket Chai and Chit Chat.
Man of the tournament, I think we can unanimously announce the man of our tournament, Dr. Belur Bakshi.
Yes, so we'll give him a cup of coffee next time when you're in Ahmedabad.
Absolutely. Amul Doodh.
And let's wait for the announcement of the new coach for the Indian cricket team.
Yes.
Okay, so
ये अनाउंसमेंट थोड़ा गंभीर रूप से हो सकता है, लेकिन जो भी होगा अच्छा ही होगा. He has to get into the very large and responsible shoes of the wall.
Absolutely. Chalo, let's sign off here, and we will be back very, very soon with the new version of Cricket Chai Chit Chat. Thank you, everyone, and thank you, Ranga. Thank you for connecting. God bless everyone. Bye-bye.
Righto. Bye-bye. Take care.